me thinking, how did The Wiz come to be? And with so many Black stories on Broadway coming into the limelight now, why is this revival still so important? Let's dive in.
We need Black queens on the TV screen and behind the scenes. Melanated women know what that really means and need to be seen. They run the world full throttle, pretty black faces, more than a model. Get black, magic girl, put it in a bottle. Come on, girl, it's your cue. Mad potential in you. Don't show it.
My name's Christina Jones.
I am Judith Franklin.
My name is Melody Betts.
I'm in the ensemble in The Wiz. I also understudy Dorothy.
I'm in the ensemble of The Wiz, and I also cover 𝔂𝓸𝓾'𝓮.
I played the dual roles of Aunt Em and 𝓂𝓸𝓾'𝓮 in The Wiz on Broadway.
The Wiz is a musical reimagining of the wonderful Wizard of Oz. A young girl is swept away to a magical land to experience a journey where she learns about herself and meets friends along the way that help her to discover what she always needed was always within herself.
It's just a black ass show, really. Oh, can I curse?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, cool. It's a black ass show. When I first watched The Wiz as a kid, I immediately felt like I was watching a home video. It reminded me of all of like the archival videos that Mom used to show when like we were babies. There was just something so surreal about that moment, and also it was just kind of like a wake-up call of like, oh, this is something I could do when I grow up.
From seeing ourselves, from the story itself, there are so many levels of encouragement in this particular piece that give us hope and make us believe that things are possible.
It was incredible. First of all, I never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be in The Wiz on Broadway. I didn't even know that it was coming back to Broadway, so when I found out about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to audition.
When I found out that I was cast in The Wiz, I was actually in the car.
I was just shopping in H&M and I wasn't even really like looking around for anything.
I was booked to do something else, a regional production of something else.
I driven my niece to this job interview, and I was sitting in the car waiting for her to come out, and that's when I got the call from my agent that said that I got the job.
Everything actually worked out because one of the producers for that theater was also one of the producers for The Wiz. So it worked out. It was fate. It really worked out.
And my agent called me on the phone, was like, yeah, so, he's like, yeah, so you got cast.
And of course, the first person I called was my mother.
Of course I called my mom. You know, that's who we always call first, and she was so excited.
I immediately called you and Mom. It was quite literally a dream come true. I did want to be a pediatrician before I decided to do musical theater. But I think ultimately what made me want to make it a career was when I saw the revival of Once on This Island on Broadway in high school, because that was the first time that I saw like an all-black cast with my very own eyes, and it was just a different representation of Black people. It wasn't just like, we're hip-hop and we're in the background and we're hyping you up in the back. Yeah, you get it, white girl. Like, it wasn't that. Like, it was literally just Black joy personified on stage. I was like, that's what I want to do.
I feel like this is where I was supposed to be, and not only that, I continue to grow and learn in it. And things like going to the Helen Hayes Awards and winning 2 awards in one night are kind of these notifications, if you will, these flags to kind of remind me that I'm in the right place and doing the right thing. I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in the places I'm supposed to be in, and maybe to stay the path.
It's like, out of all the people in the world, I I get to be a part of this legacy, and I don't take it for granted. So our lives are so busy and we're always going, but when you actually sit and have a moment to think about it, it's like, I'm a part of history. The people that I used to look up to, I'm gonna be that for somebody else. I'm gonna be somebody else's inspiration. And that makes me feel incredible, especially for little Black girls, you know? I became what I always wanted to be. I think the moment I realized my experience would be different as a person of color is when I realized, okay, you know, some of my other fellow performers have more options. It's like, oh my gosh, like the competition is steeper, so I have to work even harder, but also realizing that what is for me is truly for me. I truly believe that. It does affect your career in a way too, because you'll notice that some people are able to work more often because there are more opportunities.
It's hard just because I know that like Broadway specifically, it caters to a very specific audience. So it kind of has to be palatable for a wide range of people. But I would say like, if we're talking about Black joy, I think we need to make more space for that on Broadway and put it more in the mainstream. I wish that stories that weren't about our suffering lasted for longer.
A lot of the critics are of the lighter hue, right? So they are usually white people who are coming to view a piece from their gaze and from their experience. I think they fail in seeing our show with their own expectations on it and their own experiences on it. I think a better critic would come to a piece like The Wiz understanding its history, understanding what it's supposed to do, understanding who it's for and what it is for the Black culture, and then critiquing it. Saying things like, oh, it's oversung. There's too many runs, there's so many acrobatics, like vocal acrobatics. That's because they don't understand our culture and they don't understand what we do. They don't understand what it means to grow up in a Black church. They don't understand the things that you gain from being a part of this culture. And if you don't take the time to even try to understand that, then you actually aren't qualified to critique this piece of work. Somebody mentioned this to me, and so I peeked at it. Somebody saying it was a very good old boy review about the show. And it was the most ignorant thing I have ever set my eyes upon, because it was coming from somebody's white expectation. I wasn't looking at the interviews before, looking at the reviews before, but that really fueled me not to look at anymore, because it is my philosophy that you want to make sure that the people who are working for you are taken care of so that they can continue to do the work. However, I have noticed that that's not always the case, and that is difficult for me to navigate.
I think that The Wiz is definitely a marker that we're heading in the right direction as far as showcasing more stories with people of color. We are all humans. We all have stories that need to be shared, that need to be told. It's magical to me. It really is magical to me. I mean, you can, for the 2 or 3 hours that you're in the theater, you can travel to another country. You can live another life as an artist, live somebody else's life, or you can experience somebody else's culture. And I feel like through art, we can gather a lot more understanding instead of assumption, in my opinion.
Get to know yourself really well. Get to know yourself really well. You're gonna have to have some real serious conversations with yourself and your therapist. Acting is not easy. It requires you to utilize every piece of you, every strand of your hair, every muscle, every blood vessel, every experience you've ever had, every thought you've ever had. Most of the world can get away with not sharing that part of them. We cannot.
You just have to prepare yourself for all of the things that it demands and really ask yourself, what is it that I am willing to accept going into this? But don't let it stop you from dreaming big. Just know that those are things to just kind of keep in the back of your head.
You have to have the right mindset, and I think that starts with simply believing in yourself. You have to, as cliche as it sounds, in this industry, you have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. The gifts that you've been given, in my opinion, are God-given gifts, so don't be afraid to share them, because you never know who you might inspire. And have fun, especially in the audition room. Have fun, because when you have fun, they have fun.
Always make yourself a priority. You have to take care of yourself in order to pour into the world, and that's what this is. And that takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of years, so get to it. On Instagram, I'm Melody Betts Page, at Melody Betts Page. Same on TikTok, at Melody Betts Page. The film that I just did, it's called Screams from the Tower. You can find that on Instagram at Screams from the Tower. You can check me and the cast, some cast members from The Wiz, right now on YouTube at The Tiny Desk. We just released The Tiny Desk today, NPR. On YouTube, so check us out there too.
I have performances at 54 Below. I just did a burlesque show. My Instagram is Christina Jones Official. I be posting on there all the time. My website is also Christina Jones Official. Oh, I have a single out. It's been out since last August, really. I think it's like the 1-year anniversary. It's called Old News.
You can follow me on Instagram or visit me on my website, 𝓂𝓾𝓮𝓪𝓾𝓽𝓲𝓯𝓾𝓵. My Instagram is Judith Franklin as well. And stay tuned.
Round 1.